allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any visitors here requesting permission to address the board on an agenda item? If so, would you stand and give your name and address and what item number you wish to speak about? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Mr. President, I'd like to adopt our new agenda with the addition of Tiffany as a resignation to be announced at the appropriate section.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the revised agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approval of the minutes. We have the June 22nd, 2020 regular board meeting minutes and the July 8th, 2020 special board meeting minutes. Looking for a motion to approve those.
I move that we approve the minutes as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Special presentations and reports. We have some awards to give out tonight, recognition. The first one is for teachers. We had, I believe, 4 this year that retired: Linda Tyner, Mike Harmon, Robin Coyner, and Marianne Selvage. And I believe Marianne is here tonight. So, Mrs. Gill, you take over, please, and take care of this for us.
So, Mariana Selvage has been with us for 32 years, correct? Something like that. Changed lives, blessed people around her. I think just talking to people about Mrs. Selvage, the number one thing from the memories of families is that you have always opened your home to them, allowed them in for meals and to cook for them. That is going above and beyond, of course, the heart of a teacher, because we all know it's a calling. It's not a job. So we want to thank you for all the time that you have spent serving our families, and not to mention staff members. I've appreciated being with you and around you just for your sense of humor, your ability to make people feel like they're the most important person in the room. So thank you. Chocolate and bring it by anytime.
Keep Ed's fingers out.
Bring it back.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Marianne, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Well, I'd like to say I'm glad I stayed around long enough to see Mr. Ronk in a Delphi shirt. I just want to thank everybody for all the encouraging words and all the parade and the party and I've gotten a whole stack of cards from people in the community, and just thank everybody for their support over the last few years that I've spent here, and it's been a joy. And I will miss everybody, and I will definitely be praying for everybody, for sure. So.
Thank you very much. Okay, the board would like to recognize our 2 student representatives for the 1920 school year. Jordan Gasser and Angel Prince have served the student body well with their informative and candid observations this year. Obviously, with the COVID virus, their attendance at board meetings and their perspectives and insights were missed the latter part of the year. On behalf of the board, I would like to present both of you with a gift of appreciation. So if you come forward. I'm not going to shake your hand at all. Thank you.
I
not sure what you're gonna do with those plaques. They might be a little like a letter jacket, but they're suitable for mounting on your dorm door or whatever.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Thank you.
All right, administrator reports. Mrs. Circle.
She was online, but I don't know.
Well,
She's been dealing with
Okay,
some
we'll come
issues.
back. Mrs. Clayton.
Honorable President, we were under the impression we were not presenting this month, so we never
Well,
saw
that's-
the agenda. So I apologize. I don't
That's
know
fine.
if any of us.
Okay.
I can talk.
Do any of
You
the
guys wanna hear
administrators have
me
anything
talk?
they want to say?
I will gladly speak.
Me,
Okay. All right, that's fine. We'll move on. D, superintendent's report, Mr. Rowan.
I'm just gonna highlight some things that, today has been a very interesting day. If we thought we were in a fluid situation, it was proved today. And so, we had a school in Indianapolis announce that they're postponing school and gonna go to e-learning, and they're rescheduling their athletic events. So it's really gonna be an interesting situation for the next few weeks to see exactly where we are. So, I asked the staff today to be aware that the first teacher day is, if you look at July 21, that's 14 days away from that date. So if you're traveling or are gonna be involved, that's a possible time to watch things. And student days the 23rd. So we're just gonna have to pay a lot of attention to those dates and what is going on. Like I say, the trends that are going on, I'm sure we're gonna be hearing from the Delphi's office with the surge in cases. So, we're just asking people to stay tuned and know what's going on. We've tried to communicate our plan with a summary and the whole plan that both will be on the website. So we've opened registration to begin to give parents the opportunity to tell us what steps they're gonna take. And I want to thank Mr. Scheidler and Mr. Gear for doing some really good work on that. A couple things that I am concerned about are substitutes. I think we're gonna have to look at that very closely. We may have to look at the financials around that to see if we're gonna have to recruit some people. And also, I think we're probably gonna need, that I'll be coming back to you perhaps for an aid for the nurses, because I think they're gonna have a very difficult time keeping up with all the paperwork and all the reporting that they're gonna have to do. I talked to Nick today and I asked him if perhaps he might want to share a little bit about this whole idea of quarantine and testing and just anything you want to share on that, Nick.
Yeah, Dan, we talked about the 14-day quarantine and people, employees travel to hotspots currently. I think without either your county or the state directing it, I would discourage that, but possibly suggest testing employees coming back from, and that way you're minimizing the days away from work. Because if you tell somebody they have to stay home for 14 days, you're gonna have to pay them for that period of time, and then find a sub or somebody else to cover, depending on what their position is at the school. So at the same time, as I'm sure all of you know, the Families First Coronavirus Act, if somebody has symptoms of corona, which is now pretty broad, you have to pay them for up to 14 days to stay home. So I told all of the HR people at all the schools we represent that I think that we're going to become fast friends this fall. So I'll talk to them about that. And Portage High School announced today no fall sports as well. I think they plan to go back to school with no fall sports there.
Thank you.
Two other items. We had some storm damage over the weekend. Hopefully it looks like it was at least limited to a fence and some trees, and we certainly didn't fare as badly as Rossville did, and we're thankful for that. And I have been in touch with the Baker Tilly and Ice Miller, and the refinancing is looking very favorable. I think there may be an opportunity to save some significant amount of money on that, and so that's in the works, and we'll be bringing that back too.
Any questions, Mr. Ronk, on any of those items?
Mr. Ross, on the registration online, have we sent out like an all call notice, letting people know that it is available now, to encourage them that way? We sent out an
We
all
actually started a document today, we're just letting it, again, because everything is so fluid, we've started to see some stuff, so we've actually been working on that, so hopefully tomorrow it will go out.
Okay, so we haven't at this point though.
We haven't
are.
officially
Okay.
launched it, it's open, and we've had several, because they do get notified that it's open, so we've had quite a few that have already registered, yeah. Our plan is to send something out.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thank you. Is there anyone on board who objects to, under routine matters, doing A through E? One motion. All right, routine matters. Mr. Ronk, would you like to, your name decided, would you like to appear these?
Certainly. Claims and payroll reports are there, and monthly financial reports, the balances in the funds still look good for this month, and obviously we're tracking and trying to restrict the spending. We have spent some significant amount of money on personal protection equipment and supplies, and we'll continue to do that, but we're hoping to be reimbursed for some of those expenses. We also have the extra title money that we've received. A lot of schools have already spent on these kind of supplies. But I'd just ask if you have any questions for Andrea or I on the claims payroll or financial. Hearing none, item B, I'm asking for your authorization to do any hiring that may need to be done with your approval then at the August 10th meeting, but we will hopefully be starting school before your next meeting, and so I may have to hire some open positions. Employment of classified staff, Rhonda Ladd and Alyssa Plank as special education interventionists, and also Carly Sparks as a classroom interventionist. All of those at the elementary school. We are asking that we hire Elizabeth Stagard as a high school math teacher, and Jacob Layton as a 4th grade teacher for us. And then we had 3 resignations. Abigail Montgomery is a 4th grade teacher. Shaylin Martin was a special ed paraprofessional. And just very late this afternoon, we received a resignation from Chris Tiffany, who was our psych diagnostician. And so she is not able to return, and was very sad about it, but was very realistic that because of her personal situation, she couldn't take the risk.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to accept routine matters A through E.
Mr. President, I move we accept routine matters A through E as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of those items? Questions? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. F, adoption of revised job description for administrative staff.
Prior to the renewal of the administrator's contracts, you asked me to review the job descriptions, and I worked with the administrators to try to update these and to make them reflect the jobs that our administrators are really doing. So if it appears based on some of the titles that we're hiring more people or new people, we're not. We're just simply trying to make these descriptions fit what our hirees are already doing. So I don't know if you want to go through them by title, or if you just simply have questions about any of them.
We'll get a motion in a second on, then we'll have some discussion on.
I make a motion that we approve the administrative job descriptions as presented with one change, under the DCES assistant principal and responsibility for CEC and corporate PD, the reports to include the DCES, principal.
In lieu of superintendent or and?
No, and.
You have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the revised job descriptions with the change noted. Discussion?
I do have one, thing that kind of jumped out at me. In looking at the high school principal, middle school principal, and the, elementary school principal, item number 1, for the high school and middle school do not include, one additional piece of language, but I think the one on there that is on the elementary principal. And that is, at the end, including including effectively communicating with students, staff, and parents. I feel like that ought to be on the other 2 as well.
That's a good suggestion that I would agree with.
Any questions?
On the high school assistant principal, I know it's gonna be a combination, athletic director job. Do we need a separate description for an athletic director? Or should athletic director be added to that description? For this time?
So the last one is,
Yeah, but
I think it should be included in the vice principal duties.
I think we need to make a decision. We're obviously not gonna have a, assistant principal that oversees the athletic department and have 2, supervisor athletic positions forever. So I think we need to make a decision how that should be included in the job descriptions.
As it stands now, the person you have to job description. That's correct.
This person, with the assignments that I have in mind, this high school athletic or assistant principal would help administer and supervise the athletic office. But I don't think that that's gonna be their main responsibility. What I'm recommending is that we bring on an athletic office supervisor to do many of those jobs. Now, if you wanna add consulting and supervising the athletic office supervisor, we can add that as an item to the assistant principal's job. Is that it?
What is, an athletic department supervisor, how many hours is he gonna be working on athletic department stuff?
as much as needed, except, I mean, it's gonna be multiple hours after the school day.
Can you, I guess, Mr. Sims, is Mr. Sims on?
I think he's, in, Canada.
I mean, we're going from, we have 17 sports, I think, and we're going from a full-time position that does it that during the day to trying to run an athletic department after hours. Is this doable?
I think it is doable for a year, yes. And we'll
Strong, do you mind clarifying, so with the high school assistant principal position, is that person then going to be considered the athletic director for all external communications, responsibilities with, I mean, if someone calls here to talk to the athletic director, are they talking to the assistant principal or the supervisor?
Well, during the day,
It'd be a principal.
it'd be the assistant principal.
So does that need then, I think I'm with Steve on that, I wonder if that should be clarified, that that level of responsibility belongs to that position, knowing that we may be changing that job description down the road?
Yeah, I mean, I would be agreeable to that, to put that within the scope of that assistant principal.
And I just feel like that's a piece that we really need to know, who's ultimately responsible, and this leaves me a little bit.
Well, the assistant principal and the principal are both gonna be responsible for the athletic office, but the assistant principal will probably be doing some hour-by-hour things as it is necessary.
Is it safe to say that the title actually is assistant principal / AD director?
Or athletic office.
I mean,
Or
that's what he
athletic
is.
office supervisor.
But he is the main go-to person. Supervisors are underneath him.
Yes,
So if there is a issue, he will actually be involved in supervising that, no matter what level it is. So to me, it would be a title of AD director / assistant principal would probably clarify all this. Yes, you have the responsibilities as AD, you have your responsibilities as assistant principal. That's what we're saying.
And the bigger piece of that is supervising those two positions of
well,
the.
that's to be determined.
Okay.
It may well be one person. That way we'd have greater continuity. So are you okay with, high school assistant principal, athletic office supervisor?
I think it's just gonna create a lot of confusion myself.
Eric, you have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Circle.
I think the paperwork piece is going to be something that this position can take care of, you know, in those hours after school until events. But the actual communication with parents and the schedule and things of that nature is gonna be split in the assistant principal position. And obviously, I will be helping out as well.
Other questions? Okay, do we, need to amend the motion then to?
And Gil's request? Yeah, I would do that, I was gonna suggest that.
Changing the title from high school assistant principal to high school assistant principal / athletic office supervisor.
He'll also have the addition on the, responsibility, the job descriptions, I believe, for middle school, high school.
Right.
All right, I think I got it. I'll make amend my motion, a motion to include on the middle school and high school principals, the wording of, no, that's what I went with. No, about the principals.
Elementary.
Middle school and high school, but they need to high. This one, sorry. Adding the, language that's in the elementary principal job description, including effectively communicating with students, staff, and parents. And then secondly, adding to the title of DCSC high school, assistant principal, the supervisor of athletics.
We have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second as presented. Any other discussion on that motion?
Just one, Mr. Sims's thoughts are, this can work? He's in favor?
This solution was brought to me by the high school principal and thought she had thorough discussion with the people directly involved. So I think I'm willing and I'll work out with them to make it work for this year. Since we cannot hire new staff.
This is pretty common at school, your side, to see it, assistant principal and athletic director.
And part of what's going on too is we're very concerned about having a balance between the middle school and the high school in terms of the number of administrators, rather than having 3 in one building and 1 in the other building, with any possibility of absences or illnesses or if the issues are going to be going on. I think this will give us a much better balance. And they're gonna be there to work together anyway. They've gotta make it work.
Anything else? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor to adopt the revised job descriptions for administrative staff. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion passes. G, renewal of administrative contracts. Mr. Ross?
Are you gonna
Do you want to,
do these one at a time, or are you gonna do them all?
well, we need to
together?
the benefit first.
Okay.
Want to run through those? Is there anything?
There was a change in the health insurance. There are 3 health insurance plans, and with this group of benefits, the corporation would provide the PPO 2 plan, which is a higher deductible plan, a less costly plan. The other items are, as they have been in the past, the corporation providing dental insurance, vision, life, and long-term disability. Also a 1% on a 401A retirement plan. The phone stipend has been reduced to $360 per year, and teacher retirement is simply based on the individual salary and years of service.
You have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the administrative benefits. Discussion?
Is the 1% of salary for the 401A and the teacher retirement, is that the same as what teachers get, or is that a different figure?
The teacher retirement, again, is individually based, so it's that, the concept is the same.
Okay,
The 401 is an administrative benefit.
okay.
On the health insurance PPO 2 plan, if they want the other plan, do we pay up to the PPO price?
Correct.
Do we need that in the minutes?
That's fine. That would probably be a good amendment.
So I would like to add that under the health insurance paid by the corporation is for PPO 2, if the administrators choose, what's the other plan called?
PPO 1.
PPO 1, fancy, that they will be entitled to the payment, or
Can pay the difference between
they
the
pay the
two.
difference between the 2 plans, thank you, that works.
Okay, do we have a second for that? Now we have a motion and a second to approve the administrative benefits. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. G2, contract renewals. Mr. Ron, anything you want to say about these, other than,
I would say that one change is for Mr. Reddick, because he went from a 220 contract to a 320 contract.
What?
I'm sorry, a 220 to a 230 contract, yeah, 330.
Okay, it's
Sorry.
more days.
Okay.
that's all right.
Yeah, a 220 to a 230, his salary was adjusted from 76,500 to 78,000. There was a discrepancy originally on the job description and on the contract for Mrs. Clayton, and that is clarified to be 220 days. And I would note Mr. Sims will be in a different assignment than he has been in the past. He will have that high school assistant principal / athletic office supervisor role this year. Mr. Strebeck's salary was adjusted. He was, for some reason, he was making an odd amount of 71,454, and I adjusted that to 71,500. And then, so that it's consistent with the way the other salaries are on a schedule. And then finally, Mr. Brannon is going to be in a different assignment as the middle school assistant principal.
And I think it should be noted that all of these are for the 21-22 school year, with the exception of Mr. Brandon.
Correct.
This is for the 2021 school year. Looking for a motion to accept the contract renewals for administrators.
I make a motion to approve the contract renewals for the administrators.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on that?
We add the athletic supervisor position, which got included in the title.
Yes. Yeah, when we adopt that job description, then it will reflect that. And I believe yes, I would state that in the motion.
If you want to amend your motion to include the athletic supervisor.
I'll amend your motion then to add the assistant principal's title along with the athletic director for Mr. Sims' position.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this topic? Hearing none, all in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Assignment of administrative assistants, technology director, Mr. Gear.
I'm not sure what to call that title, but I used administrative assistant, and so Scott works 260 days a year, works an 8-hour day at the rate and with the wage that he earns, it's at 76,752. He receives teacher benefits for health insurance, dental, vision, life, LTD. He gets the phone allowance of $360, and he is on the PERF plan, the state retirement plan at 11.22%.
Looking for a motion to accept the assignment of administrative assistant, Mr. Gear.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
What are his contract? Is putting him under contract for a certain date, like the administrator, or?
He is technically not under contract. He works as a wage.
So this would be an every year thing?
Yes.
Going forward?
Yes.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 4, creation of a new position. Mr. Long?
This is what we were just discussing about having a teacher that would work in the athletic office on their time. This will have to be negotiated with the DCTA because it's going to be and it will need to be posted. So you can see the job description, and what I'm asking you to do is create the position so that we can move forward with this.
Here's the motion.
I move that we create the new position of athletic office supervisor.
Second.
Okay, and do we want we have a motion and a second on the athletic office supervisor creation. Any discussion on that?
Is it considered a GCA or a TPA?
It's a ECA.
When will the discussion with the classroom teachers begin?
What's that?
When will the
I've already,
discussion-
I've already discussed it with them, I mean, as to, that it would be on the agenda tonight, what it's about.
So you get a stamp of approval to create the new position.
Right. Yes.
Anything else? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5, new business, proposal for baseball softball building. We've had a work session on this, we've had some discussions on it, we've got some more information. Mr. Meyer, do you have anything in this packet that you want to share with the group as a?
I know last when you asked me to put together the information a little better and answer questions, I went and done several, research and stuff like that, but there is some things on here that cannot be determined until after we get plans done. I want you guys to understand that once, we give approval, then the plans can be generated because they're being done at no cost. And then once the plans are done, then we can get it, we can seek, competitive bids for the construction of the building and the asphalt grading. All the other things are, priced out, and then the donation of what labor and services that have been provided, I tried to put in my spreadsheet for you.
Okay, so just to clarify, what costs are not in this that we may incur on this, that you know,
Costs are all in there.
they're all here, okay, everything's here,
Yeah.
that we know
Yeah,
of.
the building construction and the asphalt and grading are estimated costs through contractors. They cannot give us we can seek competitive bids for them once we get plans. I also, in the packet, I included the, new drawings of the elevation. It was, the lean-to was taken off, the gable end on the one end, as suggested, and raising to 18 foot. And then I also had a benefits, summary from the athletic department on how the students were affected, other uses of the building and all that, that I included in the email.
So the YouTube's not telling me on the gable end?
It is, well, it's not a lean, it's a gable, it'll be gable, it's just 10 foot. And then,
So it is, that separate part is on the line.
yes.
And the primary use of that is gonna be for changing rooms and lockers, is that?
Storage lockers, I would guess, yes.
Question?
Steve, to clarify, total cost of the building is $116,843, estimated with those two items, minus a donation, leaves the corporation looking to take this money out of our bond for the 86,000 and change. Is that the direction that it's the intention?
Well, I mean, I don't think you wanna take it out,
Well, we
I don't
do.
think you wanna take it out of operations.
So,
It would be the 2019 bond.
It's possible to do that.
What?
It's possible.
Yes, it's a project that would fit under the description of the bond.
And money's already
There's $625,000 available in the bond.
Get a motion for you. Commissioner Self, right, please.
motion to, proceed with the, building of a new baseball, softball, middle purpose facility.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion second. Now, more questions?
Yeah, I still got some questions. On here, Steve, we got electric at 5,500, that's for service to be tied in from REMC, right? That's just the cost of, connecting to the building to the disconnect, right?
That
5,500.
is the material cost, all the labor and stuff is being done.
But that's, what I'm saying is that's bringing service to the building. Does that include the total, all the other electric, the plug-ins, the lights, everything that we had listed before?
Are we, is this gonna be with REMC or who?
It's due, I believe.
No,
Go to RMC.
Rosso will be connected to RMC, correct?
Really?
They have a box right behind that, other shed that already exists there. And as long as the meter's on by that box, we're all good.
The advantage is, otherwise you'd have to run the service a long distance.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
have to
saying.
come from around behind the ag room with you.
Yeah, and this would save, this saves a considerable amount of money.
It's about $20,000.
I didn't realize you had anything with REMC.
You don't,
Okay.
but they're willing to work with us on it.
Can I amend my motion?
Sure.
I'd like to amend my motion to, move that we, vote to go ahead with the proposed building, under the assumption that once the plans are done, we will seek 3 bids for the building construction and, select the cheapest and best, and then also for the asphalt and grading, for those most responsive.
Put a cap on it.
Should.
Include it in the fee.
Not to exceed a cost of $90,000 in the school corporation.
You have a second?
I'll second.
More discussion? Have we, received this? bid yet? Should we make, amend it here, this process, we started, or some sort of, when we receive the bid, contingent on the bid?
We already accepted the donation at an earlier meeting.
We have no man, I'm just saying, it's just my wish, I guess, we would have the money when we start this, we start with that money. You know, if that's agreeable to whoever the donor is.
I think we probably just work with the vendor on that, before we move forward. We've already, Steve's right, we've already accepted and have an agreement, so. Is it possible, I thought I read it, I'm not finding the figure, of what this building would cost without all of the labor and materials that are being donated? Didn't we see that figure somewhere?
Something like $190,000.
Over $170,000. So I think just for the purpose of the minutes, we ought to mention that that building estimated cost would be at least $170,000 at our normal, construction costs. Actually more than that with the way we do it.
Yeah, so we're probably getting $80,000, $50,000 more. Yeah.
I've got a few more things, and let me stay up front, it's not that I'm opposed to doing things, guys. I wanna make sure we're right, I got questions, we can elevate costs, I mean, let's look at the, asphalt. First of all, take the asphalt down, we've got 5 trees got to be removed. Who's removing them? Who's taking care of that cost? They're not cheap to do. I mean, yeah, we can go jerk out, got this code,
That will be all included when we get the plans,
well,
and
no.
then we seek the asphalt and grading.
I understand, but again, it's about the estimated cost, but keep going up. You know, the asphalt, we talked about 4-inch cover, but that's over existing. You've got another 4 to 6 inches that you gotta put on half that building, so that's gonna drive that cost up probably half again. Now we're starting over around our 90,000, that's what I'm getting at is, when we get there, you know, the R factors, the butt boards, and like I said, it's a motion, if it's a motion to, start getting bids, I understand it can be killed anytime, but I wanna make sure that we've got things right to start with. I don't want to keep coming back. If it's 150,000 and it's right, hey, when we get ready to turn the key, just like the soft call costs, we know that the AD department don't have the money. Mr. Sims already told us he's $15,000 short from previous time, from income coming
That
in.
has nothing to do with bond money.
Now, wait a minute, but you're right, but soft cost could be another 20, 30,000, the cost of the turf, I don't see internal boards here for, like we talked about, for, going against the, tin, the insulation factor, you know, the R factors, you spray foam on, I assume that's what this is, spray foam, which is highly flammable. That spray foam is highly flammable. You know, these are just things that I wanna make sure, that if it's another 50,000 or 60,000, with soft costs and everything, lockers, dividers, you know, you gotta take the actual building, Steve, as far as, the practice field, what's the, dimensions there? We're 50 by, it says 88, but that's with the extended, storage area, right? So what's the actual thing? I mean, if we're 50 foot, they talk about being ideally, it's 14 feet wide for batting cages. We went up to the 18 to give us a good 14 foot versus 12. They suggest them runs being 70 foot long for safety reasons. So I just wanna make sure that we're doing the right thing, you know, making the
These
building
are the
right.
same questions that were asked at the work session.
Yeah,
But we have to get an approval to proceed before the plans can get drawn out.
So I think that to redirect
The
your questions,
baseball and
though,
softball program is gonna be in charge of equipping that. If they will do fundraisers, am I correct, Ryan?
so we'll have all the fundraisers done before we put the soft equipment in, or you're gonna guarantee that we're gonna fly everything.
We have, most of the equipment we have to start with. We have to move batting cage from that side.
So you're gonna not have outside batting cages available.
No, from inside, we'll move the batting cage from inside.
Okay, it was said in the minutes before that we would have between 4 to 5 runs in there. We're only looking at two,
Two cages, yeah.
just 2 cages now.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Gil, you was gonna say something.
I was just gonna make a point that the 90,000 that is on the motion, we wouldn't be able to move forward if the estimates are above that.
Right,
So
I understand that.
we'd have to have another discussion.
Right, and the soft costs, I mean, if we can't afford to put lockers in it now, you can put lockers in it later, I mean, some of this. We just have to do, as we go forward, if we can do it with time.
I think there's an issue of optics here, and I know we're talking about different funds, completely different funds, but I'm just talking about optics of taxpayer money. July 1st, we got a letter from Mr. Schreiber, said he's lost 6 highly qualified teachers in the last 8 months because they can make more money working someplace else. Just the optics of us not being able to pay teachers enough that they don't want to jump ship. I know it's coming from different funds, and then we're spending this money here, it just doesn't look good.
Well, optics are, when you have a good school and you have good services, you get more students. You get more students, you get more money. You can pay your teachers more.
But that's just my opinion. Another thing, if at some point in the future we ever had to ask for an educational referendum because we need more money, and we just spent this money on a sports facility, I just don't think. That's just me.
I will say that I've been around here many years in this building and so forth, and I can't tell you the number of times that I've been told from athletic people,
based on the gym, we're gonna have about a $200,000 to $300,000 bleacher bill here in a couple of years. For the bleacher bill.
All right, anything else? Before we vote, I will tell you that we have the donation check in hand. So, all right.
President, can you read the motion again, just to clarify?
All right, we're,
But do you have the motion, Carly? Did you?
To go ahead with the proposed building under the assumption when the plans are done, we'll collect 3 bids not to exceed 90,000.
3 bids on the construction of the building and on the asphalt grade.
and then there'll be another vote to accept that. Like, yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor as stated. Let's do a hand vote on this so I don't have to. All in favor, raise your hand, please. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Other business, approve purchase of a charger for the electric bus. Mr. Strebeck, do you have anything you'd like to present about that?
Just to let everybody get everybody up to date. One, we got a call from the electric bus company, and I'm assuming because they had fewer buses to build on the other side, that the bus may be here as early as middle to late September. No guarantee, but that's what they're looking at. So we needed to move forward with the charger a little quicker than we had planned. We're still waiting to hear from Duke. So, talked it over with Mr. Ronk, and we just feel like the best plan right now, unless some news comes from them, and they will have their money available, approved by the State Utility Commission, that we go with the least expensive model, which is the 16,000. It charges perfectly, and I found out the only difference is you can't reverse it if you want to, which we don't want to anyway. People have misled, make Duke sound like they're gonna come in and grab our bus and charge the grid with it if they get desperate, and that's not their intent. Their intent is to buy the batteries when the bus is no longer viable to be used as a school bus. They're interested in checking on storage with those batteries for themselves, because that's at the end of life of the bus. So, currently, we feel like the $16,000 charger will charge one bus. And if we were lucky enough to be selected to get the second bus, it's still only gonna be 32,000 versus 76,000 for the 4 charging stations. And I don't ever anticipate having 4, we might, but.
I feel like we did this last meeting already. Didn't we choose which system? Because you gave us 3 choices, or 2 or 3?
Right, I guess we need approval of.
I thought we did that.
I don't know.
I think we actually.
No, we did
We
not.
talked about it. Let's get a motion on the floor, and then we'll have.
Yeah, just one other thing, and that is if Duke gets approved, they're gonna be paying for it anyway.
You're looking for a motion to approve the purchase of the charger for the electric bus?
No move.
Got a second?
Second.
Hey, discussion, any questions on this, or Mr. Strebeck, or anything?
Ross, is that charger gonna be, where we can charge both? We talked about potentially parking the bus inside as well, outside. Is it gonna be where we can charge from both sides,
Either
or
side,
we don't
yeah.
get limited?
Yeah, no, any of the chargers will take up to a 50-foot cord, so we can still set it, have it mounted inside, and then we run the cord out to the front.
Okay,
So it gives us either option.
all right, thanks.
I did not see if this was approved at the last meeting. We looked at it.
I think we did the other bus, apply for the other bus.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought we took the charger.
You mentioned possibly buying another one, but we also, didn't we determine that this charger would only be needed once a week, or at the most twice a
Sure,
week?
so we could use the same charger
So
on
we
both
could
buses.
use the same charger.
That's very true. And I did find out something interesting on the 4 charger that made it less important to buy, and that is, even though it's got one big unit and 4 individual charging, it only charges 1 bus at a time, which was weird.
So we buy 3 of these chargers and it'll still be cheaper than
Yes.
the big one.
Yes. But Mr. Ron's right, very seldom we'd have to charge both of them at the same time, so. You could use the same one for both.
Any other questions on the charging system? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the charger for the electric bus. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. 6B, approved memorandum of understanding with the Indian Trails Career Co-op. Mr. Ron?
By law, we need to be part of a working, or a cooperative, and so we've been a member in the Indian Trails. It's been a very good, association. They have a very good director, his name is James Stradling, and I believe do you remember, Andrea, how much vocational money, is it over like $350,000 that we get from vocational monies, or are you not willing to take a guess on that?
I was thinking it was right around 300,000 last year.
Okay, so it's a good thing for us. We are appealing and trying to get some extra funding from last year that the state cut back on a little bit. And also, we're trying to find out if we offer a virtual option for this year, if students can actually take vocational courses online. And we're gonna try to find out from the state if they'll be willing to fund that. But right now, the question is, do we do this Indian Trails agreement? And I would strongly recommend that we be a part of it.
Okay, we have a motion to accept this cooperative.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Indian Trails Career Co-op. Discussion?
Point of information, this agreement states that the parties have agreed to participate until June 30th, 2020. Was it a typo?
That's their typo, that's the case, so
And there's 2 locations, the dates are
Okay.
right on the signature page, but.
I noticed the front cover had a date 2015, so I think maybe they ought to clean that up a little bit. But if you need to amend the motion that I get those corrections made, I'll be
Is
happy.
that normally,
I'm giving it to you because that's what they said.
Do we normally, are we supposed to do this yearly? So should we just, agree that it's July, or June 30th of 2021 for our purposes?
Yes. All right, amendment to motion.
So I would move that we accept the Indian Trails Cooperative Agreement to be dated through June 30th of 2021, which is actually in line with the signature page, if it's a 1 year.
Okay, so we have an amended motion, which has been seconded. Any other discussion on that item?
What is the impact of that?
What, do you wanna ask that question after we deal with this? Okay.
But so it's not written into the agreement. This is-
Oh, no, they're, right now the state said they are not funding virtual vocational courses, but we are pursuing that just in case.
Okay.
Because any student we sign up for the virtual program will likely have to take a vocational class.
Anyone else? Okay. All in favor of the amended, approved MOU? Signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Future dates and agenda items, August 10th at 7 o'clock. We will probably be right back in here. I imagine, so we don't have to separate quite so much.
And I would caution you that you may be back in here before August the 10th.
Before school, August the what?
Calendar's open.
Start day is what now?
The first student day is August 6th. Teacher day is 4th, the 4th and 5th, that's the schedule right there.
All right, board comments. Mr. Nipple, would you like to start?
Well, I think we've already congratulated Mrs. Shoot, I can't think of it. Yeah, Mary Ann Selvage on her retirement, so. But, our students, board members, I feel bad that they didn't get to finish out their term because at the end of their school year, I really think the seniors, the last couple of board meetings, they usually have a lot to say, and I kind of miss that they didn't have that opportunity because of the prom and, graduation, and there's a lot of things that they really missed out on that I enjoy hearing about some of the things that they've got to say, and so I hate that we didn't get that opportunity this year to hear from them on that aspect. So, I'm glad to see everybody here tonight, and hopefully we get this cleaned up about the building for the softball, baseball, golf, and tennis and all that. I think we need to move forward on that. And that's all I've got.
Mr. Smith?
I would also like to thank everybody that's here this evening. Really, it's always exciting to be involved in a project that really appreciate that this one is such a big community project. It's bringing in a lot of additional supports, contractors, lots of cost savings for the corporation. Ideal if we can do that in a lot of projects. That'd be very good. I also want to congratulate our retirees, Mrs. Selvage, Mrs. Tyner, and Mr. Harmon. All three have been just excellent teachers for our corporation and will be very, very hard to replace. Again, thank you to the senior reps from last year. They did a great job for us for 3/4 of the year. 2/3 of the year. How'd that work out? 2/3 of the year. You know, it's an unprecedented time. It's very strange trying to figure out where we're headed, and we don't know now from week to week. But I think we will continue to get there as a corporation. We'll continue to open dialogues and discussion, and as a community, we'll figure it all out. So, not looking forward to some of this, but we will get there and we'll get through it.
Mr. Meyer?
Well, I'll start off by congratulating our administrator on having to stick with us for a little while longer, hopefully. I also want to echo what the other guy said, and add to. We've had a problem with gym space at Delphi schools for quite a while. We have kids in the buildings late at night for practices in the auxiliary gym. This new building is going to go a long way towards alleviating many of those problems. And we definitely appreciate the donation to the corporation by individuals and all the people involved with this to kind of make it happen. It's going to be a great addition to our schools.
Mr. Schwartzbaum?
Yeah. Did what everybody else has said, pretty much. That special notation to our retirees, you know, our student staff that has been here. Like Chris said, I really miss their input and watching them grow over the year to that end. Last couple meetings that what they really give us is really been great. I want to welcome those that are coming on board to us. It's going to be a different world, and those who are leaving, I want to thank them for their time and stuff that they put here, no matter what their reasons that they may be parting from us. As far as the building goes, I don't want it misunderstood. I'm not totally against the building, but I just want to make sure everything's done right. So much in the past, it's, oh, let's do this. Oh, we need this more. We need this more. And I want to make sure we've got it. And so, because come next summer, we better be getting back on a roof project. There's $450,000 gotta come out for that. And so, you know, my thought would be, you know, and there's room in here for the project cost and that. We need to have good discussions on that stuff, because we don't keep the roof. We've got cement out here on the drive, the transition drive. Go back there, boys. That is falling apart. I don't know what that would cost. So that stuff we need to be addressing. So I'll just leave it at that.
Mr. Priest?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate all the retirees and student board members we had. Thank Mr. Roan for the work he did on putting together administrative responsibilities. I know that was a lot of work. Appreciate that. I'd like to congratulate the administrators for the contract renewals. And I do hope the new softball, baseball, sports contract does increase student enrollment. But I firmly believe we could do the same thing by keeping and maintaining our best teachers.
I'd like to thank the board for opening on this discussion tonight. There are quite a few names tonight, and I think that's very healthy. I think we make better decisions when we're open and honest with all of our discussions, so I can continue.
I'd just like to wish everybody best of luck coming up in the next few days and weeks with the start of school and practices, and hopefully, who knows what we're gonna get into, but I'm sure there's gonna be several trials and tribulations coming in the next days, weeks, hours, whatever. So, having said that, looking for a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you for everyone for attending.
That's, that's true.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys.
Good to see you there.
Wonderful.
Good to see you.